Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Homestead lights, Sunday night, shadows on the wall. 10 drivers roll in, knowing 5 will fall. No golden ticket, no miracle win. You better count it up right if you're getting in. Lost in 16, but don't breathe too easy. Calan, Tony Tide, man, it's never that breezy. Odd sitting on 9, still feeling the heat. Pogo at 6, hear the thunder of defeat. No win and you're in, it's the numbers that decide. Every point's a bullet on this wild ride. Top 10 came in, but only 5 survived. It's the cut line burning, Sunday Night Live. Plus or minus, that's the game you're in. At Homestead, only points get you in. Barker holding even, right on the line. One bad stop and it's over in time. Then it drops, cut line, takes its toll. Low -2, racing for his soul. Zinging at 3, just one step behind. Hudson at 4, got nothing but grind. Ritter 8, gotta send it all. Repose the 16, backs to the wall. No win and you're in, hear the engines cry. Every lap could be your last goodbye. Top 10 fighting just to stay alive. 5 will rise and 5 won't survive. Feel the pressure, feel the spin. At Homestead, only points get you in. Brett the Jet in the booth, got the whole world tuned. Turn 3 racing network and the pressure's coming soon. Lights flash bright as the field rolls in. 10 drivers knowing only 5 get in. He's calling every move, every slide, every save. From the highline charge to a pit road gamble brave. Voices rise with the engines roar as the cut line shifts like never before. No resets now, no place to hide. The math don't lie and it won't be denied. You can lead, you can chase, you can fade away, but the numbers choose who gets to stay. Plus 16, plus 6, 0 -2 is closing in quick. No win and you're in, it's the final stand. 10 drivers fighting on Homestead sand. From the top to the line where the dreams wear thinnest. Plus or minus cut line, let the war begin. Sunday night lights, hear the engine spin. Live on turn 3, only points get you in. Five fade to black, and the scoreboard decides who ain't coming back.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. I'm Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight we have a good one here tonight. That is because tonight we are at another cutoff race, but this cutoff race, very, very important because at the conclusion of 140 laps here tonight, we will find out who the 5 drivers are fighting for the Season 6 championship. We'll now go through kind of the points order coming into tonight and see how everyone's looking and what they need to do for these next 140 laps to be fighting for that elusive championship. At the top, we have Anthony Calatoni as well as last week's winner, Nick Larson, both 16 points above the cutoff line. So as long as nothing really detrimental happens to the 84 or the 2, they could be fighting for the championship here when it comes to next week. A driver sitting above the cut line, 2 of them from the Hoona Gang Racing. That would be Jim Ott sitting about 9 points above the cut line, and then Jeff Pogo sitting 6 points above the cutoff line. The driver at the cutoff line is the winner from Friday night, so he knows how to get to victory lane at Homestead. It is the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Then we go into the drivers that need a good race here tonight, and they sit below the cut line. The first driver on the outside looking in is the 21 machine of Rob Lowell. He sits 2 points out. Then right behind him, hot on his heels, Frank Zingen in the 62 machine. He sits 3 points out from Johnny Barker. Then right there as well, we have Joe Hudson. He's 8th in points, but only 4 points out. So the 23 machine has a little bit of work to do, but definitely could be done. Then we get into longer shots here. Then sitting 9th in points is the 61 of Steve Ritter. He sits all the way about 8 points back. So Ritter needs a really, really good night. Same goes for the 46 machine of Eli Raposa. Raposa rounds out the top 10 drivers fighting for those last 5 spots, and Raposa comes in 16 points back. So like I said, that 46 machine needs a really, really good night here tonight, but he is definitely pumped on up to have made it this far. Would love to keep it going, but I got to give that 46 team a lot of props here because I'm sure not too many people had him in the bingo card for the round of 10, but he's definitely put in the work, has gotten and earned that spot here this season. We take a look here at cars heading out to the Speedway for qualifying. This qualifying could be very, very important because track position does matter a lot here tonight at Homestead, just because with the multiple lanes, you can also aero block very, very well with these next-gen cars. So you want to be up towards the front, especially if you're one of those 10 drivers. One of those drivers being the 6 car here tonight. Johnny Barker goes on the clock here. And remember, he won on Friday night. He is the cutoff car. So this 6 car here tonight looking to put things together as he goes through turns 1 and 2 for his first time lap. Down the backstretch, Barker will go. And remember, just like we've had all season long, nothing changes here tonight. We, of course, have 2-lap qualifying, taking your best time from those 2 laps, and that will set tonight's starting lineup. Here tonight, I want to say we have just under 30 cars, so drivers showing up, showing out here tonight, because I tell you what, this is one of the most raciest tracks when it comes to iRacing. We'll see cars like we see Johnny Barker here putting the left sides on the paint, all the way to drivers ripping the fence inches off of that, so tonight's going to be awesome to watch. Kind of cars pick and choose where they want to run. A few times have come on into the board right now. Johnny Barker sits to the top of that. Lap number 1 for the 6 machine, a 32.83. We'll see if he can improve here. Lap number 2 as Barker goes across the stripe here. He will not improve, a 32.90 for lap number 2 from Barker. Steve Ritter needed a big night here tonight. He will go P number 2 for the time being. We take a look now at the 97 machine of Jeff Pogo. Pogo, one of those drivers above the cut line, though regular season champion, I think he would be kind of disappointed not to make the round of 5 with the regular season championship, as Mike Kelly goes to the top of the board. The 43 machine, of course, always very, very fast, as Jeff Pogo here will complete lap number 1. The 97 machine will go to P number 4, so a very solid lap number 1 from Pogo. We'll see if he can improve here. Lap number 2, going to shake things on up, go to the top side there in 1 and 2. we'll see if he can find some more speed. But you can see here, time's very, very close. I mean, you take out, the top 3, then everyone else, from 4th to about 11, separating by just about a tenth. So time's very, very close tonight here at Homestead for qualifying, as Pogo lap number 2 in the books. Not as good, a 33.03 for the 97, so he will stay P number 5 for the time being. Anthony Calatoni sliding into 3rd. Now Joe Hudson up into 4th, and now Grant Humphrey into 5th. So a lot of drivers here late in the session slotting into the top 5. That'll bump down, Ritter, Pogo, Todd Parent, a good qualifying effort in 8th. Jim Ott will jump up to 9th here tonight. We take a look now at the 38 machine of Chad Coleman. Coleman, of course, out here chasing these checkered flags, so we'll see what the 38 machine can do here on lap number 1. He is down on the bottom side of the speedway, so trying to make this racetrack as short as possible. Has about a minute left in qualifying here tonight, and I want to say still about 8 or 9 drivers still have not taken a time. 22 have already put in a lap, as we have Coleman here just about to put in a lap. And it looks like the 1 car, Brandon Guerin, also rolling out to the speedway to take a lap. Chad Coleman will slot into P number 7 at 32.96 for the 38 machine here on lap number 1. We'll see if he can get better on lap number 2. Haven't really seen that from anyone here tonight, so that first lap definitely seems like the money lap when it comes to tonight here at Homestead, qualifying under the lights. Brandon Guerin back down onto pit road, so maybe not liking that lap there as I think Chad Coleman may have gotten the wall there off of turn number 2. We'll keep an eye here. Actually did not very, very close, but Coleman once again, another driver we see not as good. Lap number 2 at 33.05 for the 38 machine, so it looks like that will wrap up qualifying here tonight. 23 drivers taking a time, and it will be the 43 machine of Chad Coleman here tonight. Excuse me, the 43 machine. How about of Mike Kelly, that is, walking away tonight with that Riptide Radio Pole Award. So congrats to Mike. The STP 43 machine, as everyone knows and loves, will be leading the field down to the green flag. So speaking about heading to the green flag, what did we say? We had trackside and go through tonight's starting lineup for the Sunshine State 210 and 140 laps here on the docket. And remember, folks, this is a cutoff race, so a lot on the line here tonight. Folks, we are ready to run through tonight's starting lineup for the Sunshine State 210 here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway. Like we said before, Mike Kelly in that 43 machine will be leading the field to the green flag. The best qualifying playoff driver is the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Picked up the win here at Homestead with the O'Reilly Series car on Friday night, looking to sweep the weekend. He starts in a good spot on the outside of the front row. Then we head back to row number 2, filled with playoff drivers. Anthony Calatoni, our current leader in the points, he will start in 3rd, and to his outside, a driver that needs to make up 4 points. That is the 23 machine of Joe Hudson. Grant Humphrey in that 48 machine, he will start up towards the front here tonight. Excited to see what he can do. He will roll off and round out our top 5. Steve Ritter in the 61 here needs a big night. He will start 6th. That is what he needed to do to start the night, as Chad Coleman in the 38 machine will start 7th. Jeff Pogo in the 97 will roll off 8th. 9th going to the 69 of Todd Parent. And it will be Jim Ott in the 17 in the timing and scoring, but the 4 car on the side of the car, Ott will round out the top 10. Chris Muse in the 45, he will start 11th, and 12th will be Chris Progar in the 7. 13th will be the 2 car of Nick Larson, rolling off 14th is Tyler Humphrey in the 87. Josh Parker in the 81 will start 15th here tonight. And 16th will be Eli Raposa, 17th Jason Wiley, Ron Holyfield in 18th, 19th Rob Lowell, and Aiden Tatro rounding out the top 20. 21st going to Bryson Anderson, Tyler Waltz 22nd, 23rd Ariba Caton, Bentley Glasser there in 24th. Starting in 25th is Michael Strickland, Nate Brooker will roll off 26th, Donald Sieb in 27th, Brandon Guerin in 28th, 29th Sean Deal, Evan Fuquay 30th, and Scott Simley rounding out the field here tonight as we get ready to rock and roll as we go green flag here tonight at Homestead. And the cutoff race for the round of 10 is underway. The field will dive into turn number 1, 2 by 2. Johnny Barker had a really good start there, but Mike Kelly with that shorter distance there will try and get clear of the 6. Can't quite do it. Drag race down the back straightaway, 2 by 2. Now diving into turn number 3, Kelly will get clear now. Calatoni will try and do the same on Barker, but lap number 1 will be led by the 43 machine. Deeper in the field here, 3 wide racing as Jim Chris Progar side by side here for that position. That is a battle for 9th as up towards the front here. Of course, kind of calming on down, if you want to call it that, just maybe a little bit, but everyone rocking and rolling as we see Scott Simley making his way out onto the racetrack here. Simley start from pits, will start 1 lap down here, so that 33 machine will have his work cut out for him. He is looking for win number 2 on the season. Oh, it's trouble for the 6 machine. Johnny Barker here down on pit road, and I think the tower calling the 6 car jumping the start. So Johnny Barker, the driver on the cutoff line, will have to do a pass through down on pit road. That'll put him at a big deficit here tonight. What he cannot afford is to speed here on pit road. It looks like he is on the pit road, off of pit road safely. So the 6 car will try and get up to speed here as quickly as possible. As long as the 6 car stays on the lead lap, that is what he needs to do. But man, big time playoff implications as a playoff driver on the cutoff line here. Started on the front row, jumped the start. The officials are saying has to do a pass through here. That'll put him all the way back here in 29th. Side-by-side battle here on the speedway between Tyler Humphrey and Jeff Pogo. Humphrey down low in that 87 machine. Pogo up top in the 97. Chris Barger jumping to the top side as well as Humphrey will take a peek to the inside. Both cars into the front stretch wall just a little bit. But it's currently best battle on the speedway for position here is that battle. Now Pogo will go from the top to the bottom here in 1 and 2 as the 7 car will stay up on that side. A little bit deeper in the field here, some cars battling it out for position. Looks like Josh Parker around the 13 machine of Jason Wiley right there in the mix as well in this battle. The 2 car of Nick Larson, same with the playoff driver of the 21 machine of Rob Lowell. But all those cars trying to figure out their pace, don't want to get mired too far back, because right now they are in the thick of it. That range right outside of the top 10 can, get quite sketchy here multiple times as we see another battle here out on the speedway. Aiden Tatro, Nate Brooker here, as Brooker trying to work around the 24 machine on that bottom side. I tell you what, a hectic start to start the night here tonight for that playoff race. We're going to try and keep an eye on some mental math here by myself. Keep an eye on how cars are looking, what the overall status is seeming for these playoff drivers. But I think as they run, it would be Joe Hudson sneaking his way into the playoffs here. Hudson currently running in that 3rd position. Remember, he was 4 points back from Johnny Barker, and 2 to 3 from the other cars in front of him. That would be, of course, Rob Lowell, as well as the 62 of Frank Zingen. So right now it would be Joe Hudson, the 5th and final car in the playoffs, but still a long way to go here tonight. Hudson actually now starting to, right behind Hudson. We got a battle for position as Chad Coleman here trying to continue to march his way towards the front. Coleman inside the top 5 here, wanting to get 4th here from Grant Humphrey. Humphrey going to defend the spot this time around on that top side, as now Jeff Pogo and Chris Proder both have ran down Steve Ritter. So Ritter in that 61 machine now under fire from the 97 and others, as Ritter will stay down on the bottom side. Jeff Pogo up on the top side. And remember, those two had a little bit of some contact between one another. I'm sure they left it at that race, but you got to wonder in the back of their minds, does that affect how you race that other driver? We'll have to, of course, keep that in mind, keep an eye on that. But the first 10 laps here tonight, down and away, and almost contact there into turn number 1, as I think Ritter wanted to try a lazy arc into the corner. The 87 Tyler Humphrey was feeling pretty optimistic, showed a nose to the inside pretty late there. Those two almost making contact. Those two, though, doing a great job keeping off from one another, because a lot on the line, especially for that 61 machine of Steve Ritter. The drivers above the cut line loving to see that Mike Kelly is out in front, leading the way. That leaves, a bonus point off the table for the time being for one of those playoff drivers below the cutoff line, but still a long way to go here tonight. As we take a look here, I think that's the 81 machine of Todd Parent. The 69 machine of Todd Parent starting to get run on down here a little bit by the 81 of Josh Parker. Parker currently running that lane above the seam, not quite up to the fence, but definitely above that top lane seam, and trying to find some pretty good momentum. He is doing just that. Deeper in the field here, Bryson Anderson, Tyler Waltz here side by side. Waltz down on the bottom side there in the 9 machine. Bryson Anderson, I believe a new paint scheme here tonight. A little bit of autism awareness on that 32 machine. I like the look of that as, trouble for the 24 machine. Aiden Tatro into the wall. Around, he will go on the backstretch. It looks like everyone will miss that 24 machine. We saw Tatro kind of bounce off the wall, so we'll take a look, see what happened with him. But the driver that got the lucky break here in this one, Johnny Barker, can catch back up to the field. And that is what that 6 machine needed here early, is a early to caution, try and get some of that track position back, and he'll be able to do that as we get caution number 1 under the way. Aiden Tatro already into the wall here, so we will try and take a look here at the 24 machine, and it looks like maybe he got some wheel spin for sure. The back end out of sorts on that 24 machine, then a big hit to that outside wall. Man, that pink car, not sure who that was. Looks like maybe Michael Strickland, just able to sneak on by. And then Tatro sliding once again back up to the field. The field making big time evasive maneuvers to miss that 24 machine. But a tough break for Tatro, as he has won a race here this season, and that coming in the Busch Series, Friday Night Busch Series at Talladega. So a tough night here tonight, but overall on the season, probably pretty good. Yeah, I tell you what, that is a good point. Homestead during the day, it definitely helps kind of the characteristics of the track, because it's a little bit hotter, of course, under the sunlight. So the cars, of course, slipping and slide a little bit more. Makes it much more important to kind of the line sensitive, let's say, with that temperature in the track, and then of course the temperature of the race car is kind of increasing it. Here at night, it's much more kind of ripping the bottom side until that pace really falls on off. Then once that happens, then we'll see drivers, of course, mixing it up a little bit more. But right now, if a driver's changing lanes, it's probably mostly because they got a car in front of them and trying to get clean air and that sort of stuff. Not really searching the racetrack. Like you said, during the day, we see much more of that. All right, I believe this time by, we should see the 1 to go signal. So I believe Mike Kelly in that 43 machine going to have lane choice here in this one. as it looks like Kelly will choose that bottom side. So we will get the field re-racked, restacked, and ready to get back to some green flag racing action here. First caution coming out right about lap 12 or so, one car incident. And it looks like it will put Scott Simley here onto the lead lap. Both Simley and Guerin both down on pit road, probably top off on some fuel here, trying to, stretch that run a little bit longer, but hopefully they're able to catch up to the field by the time they go green flag racing. But everyone else still out here and running. Looks like maybe two cars out of the race early here. Looks like, of course, Tatro involved in this first caution, one car incident, and then maybe Reba Caton having some issues as well in the 30 machine. Looks like he is not out on the speedway as well. But that still leaves, 29 cars here on the lead lap and out in the race. As here we go, first restart of the night. It'll be Mike Kelly in control here in the 43 machine. Anthony Calatoni, the other driver here on the front row. iRacing pace car heads down pit road. And Mike Kelly on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing here at Homestead with about 120 left in this one. As here we go, fields fanning on out here in this one. Everyone looking for some of that clean air as we saw, once again, Tyler Humphrey take a peek to the inside of another car. That was the 38 machine of Chad Coleman. That time Humphrey down on the bottom side. Here comes now Jeff Pogo. He has got that 97 wound back up, and Pogo will take 6th place away from Humphrey. So top 5 kind of single filed on out for the time being. Only driver in the top 5 to the top side of the speedway there, 1 and 2. The 48 machine of Grant Humphrey. Top 3 trying to drive on away from the rest of the field as Jeff Pogo still up on that top lane, still building that momentum in the 97. Now able to get to the right rear quarter panel of Chad Coleman. So those two will go side by side here down the front straightaway. This is a battle for a top 5 running spot here tonight. As Coleman once again down to the bottom side, going to try and put those lefts on the bottom side for sure. The rights below that first seam, that's where you want to be until that car can start to get tight. Then we'll see drivers either trying to put left sides on the paint because there is still a little bit grip on that paint. That paint is actually up on the bank and versus on the apron just a little bit if you can hit it right. But up in front, Anthony Calatoni will lead that lap there on the bottom side. So Calatoni here trying to get the race lead, going to get a bonus point for a lap led. Mike Kelly right on the door of the 84 is going to leave the lane open for Grant Humphrey. Yes, it does. Here comes Grant Humphrey with a big head of steam down the back straightaway. Man, right there, we saw 3 lead changes in one corner, it felt like, as now it is Grant Humphrey on the top side, getting that 48 machine rocking and rolling, and Humphrey will lead here to start lap number 20. Man, exciting stuff here to start the race, and we see that a lot here at Homestead as Grant Humphrey back down to the bottom side, and I like that call. Don't want to be stuck on the high side too much because that will really kill tires. I mean, this place will see a ton of tire fall off, of course, throughout the run, but that top side's only gonna, let's say, increase the speed of the fall off, make it even worse, because I mean we're already looking at lap times that are second off of some of the best lap times for some drivers here already in this first 20 laps, even with a caution here tonight. Look a little bit deeper here, Christopher Muse in the 3 machine, of course 45 in the timing and scoring. He will now try and take over that 7th position. So Muse looking pretty sporty here, already up 4 positions from where he started. A driver here rocking a new paint scheme, a driver in the top 10 running and fighting to make the round of 5. That is this 46 machine of Eli Raposa, right now battling with the 44 machine of Sean Deal. As wow, right there in front of him, Tyler Waltz jumping up to the top side. Raposa had to really get on the binders, maybe into the back of the 9 there, but Raposa trying to make his way up through the field here. right here running currently in 22nd, and then 23rd, Johnny Barker, remember, had to do that pass-through penalty from the initial start. Barker already back up to 23rd, continuing to try to make his way up through the field. Another driver making his way up through the field, that would be the 21 machine of Rob Lowell, just getting around his teammate of Steve Ritter. So Rob Lowell looking to make his way up through the field, and remember, he has to beat Joe Hudson and at least Johnny Barker, his teammate, to make it into the round of 5. Right now, checking one of those boxes. The other sits 2 cars in front of him. That would be the 23 machine of Joe Hudson, who is now under fire quite a bit from Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey, though, he is starting to fade, so maybe a little bit of this 23 and the 87 starting to fade a little bit here in the pace, and we'll see that especially if drivers aren't taking care of their stuff, as, oh, we got trouble here in turns 1 and 2. This time looks like quite a few cars, and oh, big time playoff implications as Johnny Barker late into the wreck. Barker, that is the issue with being in the pack, can very much increase your potential to be in calamity, and Johnny Barker, a tough night just got tougher as we see quite a bit of damage on that left front headlight for the 6 machine. Man, oh man. The craziest part, folks, is we are 25 laps into this race, and we have storylines all over the place, and that will only increase. It looks like Eli Raposa also may have gotten a piece of damage here as well. So at least two playoff drivers here involved in this one, as, oh no, the 21 machine of Rob Lowell, he could be maybe involved here as well. Let's take a look here, slow it on down, and see what happened here in turns 1 and 2. And oh no, teammate drama as Steve Ritter gets into the left rear Rob Lowell. Both those cars in playoff contention. Nate Brooker will get a piece of it. Mike Strickland almost into the catch fence. Chris Proger will get a piece of it as well. Oh man, that is 3 playoff drivers involved in this second caution, as these guys will start sliding down the banking. And then this is where Johnny Barker, oh, Brandon Guerin late into that one, a huge hit to the 1 car. And then this is where Johnny Barker gets in damage, as Nate Brooker, same with the 76 of Evan Fuqua. Holy smokes. I mean, I don't even have a camera that's far wide enough to kind of see everything that happened there in 1 and 2. Let's try and go back once again, as we have about half the field here pitting under caution, but we got to, of course, take this kind of once again, take a look at what happened in 1 and 2. I mean, where does Brandon Guerin get a piece? He must have hit Rob Lowell as he came sliding down the speedway. As no, Brandon Guerin just locking them on up, trying to miss the 21 machine, will take himself out. That's a pretty noble move there for him. But like I said, Michael Strickland almost up into the catch fence as well. Holy smokes. But playoff drivers here might be out of this one. Rob Lowell currently still down on pit road. Johnny Barker, another one of those playoff drivers, down on pit road. He will get back out to the speedway. Still some damage on the left front headlight, so that car's still now up to 100%. Eli Raposa back out onto the speedway, but looks like Raposa, he's looking pretty good, so he might be able to survive here and continue to run. And it looks like out in front here, a little bit of a strategy. First driver to pit, and I believe looks like take fuel will be the 25 machine of Ron Holyfield. The first driver on tires, the 23 of Joe Hudson. So keep an eye on Hudson, as he will try a little bit of alternate strategy. And I like that call. Maybe didn't have the pace there as that run was developing. They do have 3 sets of tires over the wall, so why not take one earlier, knowing, you know, you have to run these next ones long, but that would always be the case if this race runs green to the end. But here we go. Lights are on out. The iRacing pace car will make the left-hand turn down to pit road, and will be Grant Humphrey in control on the restart. Anthony Calatoni, once again, the other car on the front row here. As Grant Humphrey gonna wait to jump on the loud pedal. Calatoni had to kind of check on up to not make sure that he did not jump that start like we saw Johnny Barker do here at the start of this one. We'll keep an eye here on everything and our ears open to the chatter. Make sure no penalties handed out on that one, as Rob Lowell will make his way back out to the speedway. So the 21 machine a few laps down, but will continue the race here as, oh man, almost 4 wide for the race lead here through 3 and 4. Grant Humphrey up here on the wall, and Anthony Calatoni busted here tonight for jumping the start. So another one, playoff implications to the max. Now 4 drivers impacted early in this race. The most recent victim, the 84 of Anthony Calatoni, will have to do a pass through here tonight. His night's not over though, as he will stay on the lead lap. He will have to hope for a caution though, as Calatoni will get back up to race pace. But oh man, the good news for Calatoni, he does have that 16-point buffer to those playoff drivers. But here with that one right there, that is going to make it very close, way too close for the Calatoni fans out here. Out in front though, new race leader, a driver that was charging on up through the field. He has now made it up into clean air as Josh Parker in that 81 machine. He has looked sporty here for these first 30 laps. Now really showing it off as he will lead the way and pick up, I believe, his first career laps led here tonight with the 802 iRacing League. He'll do that, of course, out in front over Grant Humphrey. Mike Kelly now into third, and look at this, Jim Ott. Where did he come from? Up into fourth. Jeff Pogo, of course, hanging around in that 5th position, but Pogo now under fire from some drivers that pitted as Bentley Glasser, of course, up here and finding on out. He had himself a podium a few weeks ago. He's pretty good when it comes to these tracks, especially these multi-groove tracks, as Glasser will run it on up to the top 5 for the first time tonight. And this Mountain Dew 36 machine, the biggest mover, he is up 19 spots into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. One of those drivers I said keep an eye on here for this restart. That is the 23 machine of Joe Hudson, up here on some fresh rubber on that race car. And Hudson already making his way up into 11th here, so this could maybe work on out pretty nicely if this does become a long green flag run. As up in front, battle for the race lead here. Once again, Grant Humphrey trying to get that race lead back away from Josh Parker. Those two will go for a drag race here down the front straightaway. Humphrey will try and sail it in there deep. Humphrey will put that 48 machine in that middle line between those two seams, where Josh Parker trying to keep that momentum rocking and rolling up on the top side. Going to hold off the 48 machine at least for another lap here at Homestead. As the 87 machine of Tyler Hudson, I believe, will try and get around the 2 of Nick Larson. And there's got to be a relationship between Grant and Tyler. Hopefully we could talk with one of them at the end of the race and get that relationship down and away, and make sure that we can, of course, give a good shout out there, because I always love when we see, you know, father-son combinations, brothers racing against each other. It's always really cool to see that, as Josh Parker doing a great job feeling the heat, not cracking under the pressure, as he will hang on to the race lead. Grant Humphrey will follow suit behind the 87 machine up on the top lane. And I tell you what, things actually calming on down for the first time here tonight. No real battles for position out here in this one. And of course, here tonight we have 3 drivers that have retired here. That is Evan Fuquay, Aiden Tatro, Ariba Caton, and remember, Rob Lowell, first car involved in that caution. He is back here out on the speedway, but currently sits 3 laps down. So is going to have to get a lot of help here tonight. And that 21 machine needed a good night. The first driver below the cut line was this 21 machine, just 2 points back. And right now, where he sits, his run for a championship would come to an end here tonight, but he still has over 100 laps left here in this one. Anything could happen, especially here at Homestead. Up towards the front here, Bentley Glasser still making his way up through the field, of Bentley up to P number 3. So this guy started 24th in the first 37 laps. Bentley has driven on up to the top 3. And look at this, folks. If this doesn't tell you what kind of a weird night we're having, the top 4, and I mean 4 of the top 5 are non-playoff drivers leading the way. Wow. I mean, if you told me that, I wouldn't have believed you for a second, but with the penalties, with the cautions, we have seen a bit of a topsy-turvy night, and it's got to be a full moon out here tonight at Homestead. Joe Hudson now trying to get around Steve Ritter. This is, of course, a big battle. That is, of course, for position. And, man, I don't know where he got the damage from, but Chad Coleman, big-time nose damage right in the center of that race car. That splitter pushed way on up, and that grill pushed way on in. So Coleman definitely going to be down on pace a little bit with that damage. That car is definitely not going to be turning as well, as because that splitter not sealed off to that racetrack, allowing air to get underneath that race car, lift up that front end. And with that lift, you know, that's less downforce, less force to put on the tires to help it turn. And we can see there Coleman not able to keep it on the bottom side of the racetrack. That opens the bottom side up to the 23 machine of Hudson, as Hudson will get right in line of Coleman there. Couldn't have cut that any closer, as maybe some trouble here for the 87 of Tyler Humphrey, as he was big time slowed down the front straightaway, as he will continue to lose places in the 87. So not sure what is up with Tyler Humphrey, but definitely off the pace here for the time being, as he will continue to bleed spots out here at Homestead. And folks, we have now made it to double digits laps left to go here tonight at Homestead. So next time by will be 99 to go here tonight. And like I said, crazy way to start the race out here, as once again Grant Humphrey starting to put the pressure on Josh Parker for the race lead. Let's ride on board with Parker looking on back to Grant Humphrey here. Let's actually get the right camera here, and let's take a look, see what maybe these two are doing differently, because they know they might need to get rolling. As Bentley Glasser, he is starting to run down the top 2 as well. As awesome, we got a little insider information here, as we got some Humphrey fans out here in the YouTube chat land tell me they are twin brothers racing against each other out here tonight, and both brothers, of course, running in the top 10 here tonight. We're looking back here at Grant here, and I tell you what, that's pretty cool. I've had a few chances to race against my brother in the sim, and I tell you what, it is an awesome time, and the camaraderie you can get, especially with a brother, man, that's awesome to see out here. As once again, Grant Humphrey putting a lot of pressure here on Josh Parker for the race lead. He knows he has to get going, because that Mountain Dew machine is coming with a head of steam out here tonight. But like we saw a little bit even with the Xfinity cars, it is one thing to run down another car. It's a whole nother deal to try and get up and around him, that's for sure. Mike Kelly here losing another spot in that 43 machine, now to the 4 car of Jim Otso, up into P number 4. So the 4 car to P number 4, a little bit deeper in the field. Christopher Muse, and now Tyler Humphrey going at it. This is for P number 9 on the speedway. Tyler Humphrey down low. Chris Muse, a big time moment there off of turn number 4. Got a little bit loose, had to kind of pedal that race car, and you can see the momentum you lose just in one straightaway when you don't get to that skinny pedal as quickly as you'd like. He, of course, lost that position to Tyler, losing another position to Wiley as he will try and cross over the 13 machine of Wiley here down the back straightaway. Man, I tell you what, I love coming to this racetrack. This racetrack always puts on a great show, especially in some NASCAR cars. I mean, you get certain tracks, you know, that are just circled on a calendar, and Homestead, Miami, definitely one of those racetracks. Up in front of these guys here, Joe Hudson now trying to get around some more cars as he will try and use those fresh tires to his advantage. Now trying to get around the 2-car Nick Larson as they run. Larson is our current points leader. He is in the top 5 in points as they run. Same with Jim Ott, Jeff Pogo. It's right on the fence to Anthony Calatoni. I think he will be on the outside looking in. I mean, Frank Zingen not here tonight, so that is a big time moment here from the 62 as well. So I think when it's all said and done, I want to say it would be Anthony Calatoni still in the top 5 in points, because it would be a 24-point or so swing for Steve Ritter to get in over Calatoni. And right now, they're separated only by 12 points here tonight. So things may be calming on down just a little bit, but right when we say that, a battle for position starting to form back up here. Mike Kelly has run back down Jim Ott, so the 4 machine of Ott was able to get around Kelly. Now here comes Kelly once again on the bottom side, and these two got to get themselves sorted out, because here comes Joe Hudson as well. The new tires under that 23 machine, and Hudson would love for this race to go green to the end, because with where he's running, Joe Hudson would be in the round of 5 and fighting for his first championship. We have our first taker here to pit road under green flag. That would be the 87 machine of Tyler Humphrey. We saw Tyler kind of fading just a little bit later in this run, and I like the call from the 87 coming in early, saying, you know what, we're only going to lose pace, might as well short pit, make up some time, and especially use that data point of this first run to say, hey, we could do X, Y, Z, you know, change up our braking point, our lifting point, maybe dial a little bit more rear brake bias in for the second run, try and run it a little bit longer here in run number 2, but have some better pace. I like the call from the 87 as he will kick off our first taker of green flag pit stops. Now it becomes, when does the rest of the field start to pit, because we know the fall off. I mean, last time by, we already see about, like I said, a second and about a tenth or 2 fall off from the best time. So you give that up for 5 laps, that's already 5 seconds. Though remember, on the flip side, that could also go the other way. So a lot of calculations going on for these drivers here to try and figure out when is the right time to come down pit road. A battle right outside of the top 10 here tonight. Tyler Waltz continue to try and drive that 9 machine up towards the front of the field. Currently trying to get around Jason Wiley, who Wiley has put himself in a really good spot, but oh, not what Tyler Waltz wanted to see. We get our 3rd caution of the evening here on lap 52, and we will try and see when and where this came on out here in this one. But I tell you what, one driver super pumped up for this caution. That would be the 84 machine of Anthony Calatoni, as Calatoni will be able to head back and catch the field. As here we go, this was the contact here. Brandon Guerin and Rob Lowell, they're getting together As that one, it looks like Garen up towards the top side. Rob Lowe already against the fence. Nowhere higher he could be. And then, oh man, Brandon Guerin, a big hit to the outside wall as he bounces back off. I believe it was the 32 machine of Bryson Anderson. Yes, it was. And Brandon Guerin already involved in an incident earlier tonight. You know, going to continue kind of a rough night for that one machine. As here we go, we see the entire field here down on pit road. So a big time pit stop coming on up here in this one, as we'll keep an eye on the end of pit road, see who wins the race off of pit road. But we have now currently 23 cars all down on pit road together. Let's see who will be the first car off of pit road. It looks like it'll be the 81 machine of Josh Parker winning the race off of pit road. Then Bentley Glasser, Grant Humphrey, Joe Hudson, and Mike Kelly going to be the top 5 there off of pit road. As it looks like Johnny Barker, of course, going to stay in that box a little bit longer, try and get some of that damage repaired on the 6 machine. Chad Coleman able to get that nose kind of buffed on out, so he will be down and away. That damage repaired on the 38 machine. Chris Proger, also another one on pit road for a little bit extra time. He will be down and away. And it looks like everyone's safely on and off of pit road, as it looks like no penalties, no one dropping to the end. So that will be good news for everyone in the field, as here we go. Lights are out on the iRacing pace car. Looks like it will be Josh Parker choosing the inside lane. Tyler Humphrey here going to get the wave around, going to get back on the lead lap for that 87 machine. So he will go on and catch the back of the field. And looks like in total about 26 cars still on the lead lap here tonight. I think the first car 1 lap down, maybe Rob Lowell. You know, he is multiple laps down, so he will need a few more of these friendly cautions to help him on out, try and get back onto the lead lap. But 3 cautions here in the first 55 laps here in this one, but we'll try and head him back to green flag racing here. And I think from here, most of the field could probably one stop it if they want to split it right in half, you know, pitting in about lap 90 or so. So drivers having that in the back of their mind, but here we go. That's still quite a bit of ways as we get ready to head back here. Josh Parker in control, Bentley Glasser, the other car on the front row. iRacing pace car down in pit road, the field into the restart zone, and here we go. Josh Parker on the loud pedal, up through the sequential gearbox, and we head back to green flag racing. Top 2 single filed out here pretty quickly. Side-by-side battle, though, for third. It's Grant Humphrey trying to get around Joe Hudson. Going to do just that there through 1 and 2. The rest of the field here, Dyson and on up 3 wide for a second. Christopher Muse, the meat in the middle, as Jim Ott up top. Steve Ritter down low. Ott all the way against the fence. They will stay 3 wide here down the front straightaway. Right on board with Muse there in the middle. All 3 wide has Wiley down low, Jim up top. Though Muse able to get down to the bottom side in front of Wiley, but that will cool things on off for the time being for 3 wide, as most of the field here 2 by 2. And I think with these cars bunched on up, it's a perfect time to let the cars do a little bit of talking. Let's do a little turn 3, turn it up here tonight from Homestead. Alrighty, lap 60 underway here tonight, and we have a new race leader. Bentley Glasser has taken over the point in this one. The 36 machine out in front. I don't believe his first career laps led, but I tell you what, that 36 looking very sporty. Battle for the best running playoff driver. That is between Nick Larson and Steve Ritter. Remember, Larson won last week at Homestead as sideways goes Jason Wiley in the 13 machine. Wiley makes heavy contact to that inside wall. Will lose that left front fender, and that left front tire looks like it is broken on that race car, as that thing is not spinning anymore. So Wiley will try and get his car safely to pit road here. We'll try and see what happened to the 13 machine there off of turn number 2, as this will be, of course, down the back straightaway. We'll get a good view of what happened here to the 13, as Wiley to the outside of Joe Hudson. And then off of turn number 4 here, looks like not the right lap for it, so we'll keep on searching. And it looks like Wiley just getting loose there off of turn number 4. We'll back it on up maybe just a little bit more, as Wiley, maybe some help there from Anthony Calatoni. Oh man, drama there, as Calatoni was on the back bumper of the 13 machine, as we do get our 4th caution here. Taking a look at that, and not sure where that was out here on the speedway. We will take a look here, try and find it out here and see what happened through the field, as everyone seems to be rocking and rolling for the time being. As it looks like maybe the 32 machine of Bryson Anderson. Anderson here off of turn number 2. Looks like that back end just getting out from under the 32 machine, like we saw with Aiden Tatro, and then a big hit to the inside wall, getting both the left front and the left rear of the 32 machine. So it looks like Nate Brooker here will be the lucky dog. He will get back on the lead lap, so that only leaves now Rob Lowell being laps down in that 21 machine, though he now sits 3 laps down, though. Good news for him, he is the only car 1 lap down, so if we do get a quick caution, he will be the wave round. We'll be able to get to 2 laps down, but that still means 2 more cautions without another car going a lap down. So the second time here tonight, we've seen a single car incident, that being involved with the 32 machine. So under our 4th caution just before the halfway point. And drivers that have been on the move here tonight, our race leader Bentley Glasser up 23 spots from where he started. He, of course, is leading the way. Then in second, Josh Parker up 13 spots from where he started. Another driver on the move doing a nice job. That is the 9 machine of Tyler Waltz. Waltz up 10 positions from where he started. And then another driver on the move as well. The 44 machine of Sean Deal. Deal up to 13th. That'll put him plus 16 as well. Then Donald Sieb in the 4 machine making his series debut. He's up 10 position up to 17th. And Scott Simley, remember, he started on pit road, started deep in this one. He is up 13 spots as well. So lights go out on the speedway here once again. And yeah, here we go. The field re-racked, restacked, and ready to get back to green flag racing. And yeah, I tell you what, you are right there. This will be a tire-saving race with these cautions, because that put about, right around 10 laps on some tires, cool them back off, but of course heat them back up. And with that tire life, you got to wonder who kind of took care of their stuff, because if they did, they will definitely see it even in these first 10 laps, cooling the back off and then, firing on off once again. Bentley Glasser here in the 36 machine going to be in control here on the restart. Josh Parker, the other car here on the front row, row number 2, Grant Humphrey, Mike Kelly, then row number 3, Nick Larson and Jeff Pogo, as we get ready to rock and roll. The iRacing pace car here makes it down to pit road, and now Bentley Glasser in control of the start. We will head back to green flag racing here right before the halfway point as Glasser gets a great start on the bottom side. Grant Humphrey now going to take a peek to the inside of Josh Parker for second. Humphrey down low in that 48 machine. He has Mike Kelly right behind him as well. They'll go side by side here down the back straightaway, deeper in the field. 3 wide racing action maybe for a split second as Anthony Calatoni here, after that penalty, trying to make his way back up through the field. He is doing just that as Calatoni here up into 10th. So he has rebounded here pretty nicely, as well as maybe more importantly, pretty quickly. The 84 machine already back up into that top 10 like I mentioned. Mike Kelly now taking a peek to the inside of Grant Humphrey for that third position. That's right on board with Humphrey here with the left rear camera shot as Mike Kelly will disappear. That's just how wide these corners are. Will start to reappear maybe on the bottom side, but Humphrey into the wall. That'll allow Mike Kelly to get on by. So let's ride on board, maybe with Christopher Muse looking on back, as here comes Jeff Pogo diving it to the inside of the 43. Excuse me, the 45. So you'll see then down the back straightaway, Muse will have the run. Pogo will slot into line, try and get a little bit of that slipstream, that is, a little bit of that draft, but then we'll see Pogo shade to the bottom, put that classic headlight low, as people would say, to get a little bit of downforce on that race car, but then slot back into line here down these straightaways, get that momentum back up. But maybe Jeff Pogo watching that mirror a little bit, seeing Anthony Calatoni closing on in, and Calatoni to the high side, 3 wide here for 6 down the back straightaway. Nick Larson and Jeff Pogo almost contact there off of turn number 2, being 3 wide, but here comes Calatoni, knowing he needs to get that track position, using up those tires a little bit on that top side, but it is working for him as that 84 continues to march on up, and woohoo, that was close there off of turn number 4 as Pogo will slam the door shut on the top side. Calatoni now to the bottom here in 1 and 2. That was some close racing, and now it will be Anthony Calatoni, the best running playoff driver, and still those playoff drivers on the outside of the top 5 here currently. So I don't think that will be long, as Calatoni here trying to get around Christopher Muse for that 5th position. Up in front of them, Josh Parker, Grant Humphrey, as well as Mike Kelly here, all in a battle. And this is allowing Bentley to drive on away from the field. Bentley already over a 2nd advantage over the rest of the pack here. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here, figuring out things for the time being. It is Parker leading the way over Humphrey and Kelly, though. Humphrey into the wall once again in 3 and 4. And that's where that top side, especially in 3 and 4, can be very, very tricky. I mean, there's a bump, at least on the top side in 3 and 4, right in the middle of the corner. And I think Grant Humphrey keeps on, hitting that bump just wrong. And when you hit that bump, of course, puts a little bit of different weight on the tires, takes some weight off, adds some in other places, and 9 times out of 10, when you hit it wrong, it will send you up into the wall, as we ride on board now with Tyler Humphrey trying to make his way back through the field here. Remember, Tyler Humphrey got off sequence a little bit, had to take a wave round, that's why he's mired on back, but making his way up through the field, up into 15th position here, right behind Scott Simley and Chris Brogar. As Tyler Humphrey, big time moment there through 1 and 2. Got a little bit loose, had to save that race car, did a nice job saving that race car, but will lose a few spots because of it. But big picture, he will live to fight another day. And man, with me yapping all this time, we have officially made it into the 2nd half of this race, as Bentley Glasser here leading the way, having great pace out in front of this field. as we are into the second half of this race here tonight, folks. Grant Humphrey, Mike Kelly still duking it out for that third position. Those two trading it back and forth. It seems like every other lap here deeper in the field, right around the top 10 here. Some great battles here out on the speedway as Chad Coleman got that damage repaired. That 38 machine looking much better now. He's able to start marching his way back up through the field, trying to get around Jim Ott. And Ott having a little bit of nose damage on that 4 machine. Not as bad as we saw from Coleman earlier, but you can see a little bit of a dent right around that Chevy logo on the 4 machine. And of course, the big issue with that splitter right in the middle of that 4 machine pushed on up. And like I talked about before, that allows air to get on the bottom side, lift up that front end instead of push that front end down. And I'm sure that 4 machine not turning the way the driver of Jim Ott would like. Oh, as Johnny Barker will go on around, we'll tag Eli Raposa, and we will get our 5th caution of the night, as 2 drivers that have a tough night will continue to get tougher, as Johnny Barker, Eli Raposa involved in this 5th caution. Let's take a look here, see what happened off of turn number 2. And it looks like we'll take a look here, see what happened. Johnny Barker trying to get to the bottom side of Scott Simley. It looks like Barker having the back end of that 6 machine start to step on out. We'll try and save that race car. He will get on the apron. Then I'll, of course, unload the left side, shoot that car to the right as soon as that splitter touched that apron. And Eli Raposa, just an innocent bystander, nowhere to go. A big shot to the door for the 46 machine. But I tell you what, the Todd ride, Todd Perrin, somehow able to sneak on through with that. I mean, we got to take a look here one more time, riding on board with Todd Perrin, because that was a close call 2 times involved in that one there. As oh man, let's try and here we go, riding on board with Todd Perrin. Watch this close call twice. Let's make it around Johnny Barker by inches and missing Eli Raposa. Woo-hoo. The Todd ride, man, just able to squeak on through. As here once again we have a busy pit road, most of the field down on pit road for their 2nd pit stop of the night. That will leave now, for most cars, 1 set of tires left in this one. And with this pit stop, quite a bit of strategy. 2 cars just taking fuel. Let's make it 3 cars just taking fuel, as most of the rest of the field taking some tires here in this one. So Rob Lowell was the lucky dog candidate there from that one. So the 21 machine will now go 2 laps down. So that will be something we got to keep an eye on here in this one. And remember, playoff points looking quite a bit different at the time, being Frank Zingen not making it here tonight. He will be automatically eliminated. So that leaves 5 drivers. Eli Raposa involved in now 2 cautions here tonight. He's looking on the outside, looking in, not in the greatest spot. Steve Ritter, he is putting together a solid effort right around the top 10. We'll need to continue to do that. Joe Hudson sits in a really good spot. Hudson will sit 2nd on the restart here tonight in the 23, though, on old tires. So this is where it could go south for the 23 with that different strategy not working on out with the way the cautions foil. But if he gets a good timed yellow, you know, right around in 20 laps or so, that 23 will pit and could be looking pretty good. Rob Lowe, remember, he will, of course, coming into tonight 2 points back, but now 2 laps down still currently for the 21. Johnny Barker on the cutoff line. He sits in 22nd, involved in that most recent caution. Once again, involved in 2 cautions. So I think right now it'll be Calatoni, Larson, Ott, Pogo, and Hudson. But still got some racing left to do here tonight. Still 60 left on the docket as here we go. We get ready to head back to Green Flag Racing. Tyler Humphrey leading his first laps. Going to be in control. Tyler Humphrey on the loud pedal. We head back to Green Flag Racing here at Homestead as driver with fresh tires trying to sort themselves on out. Scott Simley, another driver on old tires, trying to survive and make things work with track position here. I tell you what, big time stack ups right here in this mid pack. Drivers trying to get that track position as much as possible, slice and dice their way with slightly older tire cars up in front of them. As man, oh man. As we ride on board here with Jim Ott, looking at quite a few cars up in front of him. Ott, of course, right in a gaggle of playoff drivers. Now, of course, Nick Larson, Steve Ritter right in front of them. And a few cars up sits Jeff Pogo and Anthony Calatoni. So most of the playoff drivers right around in that gap from about 8th to 15th here currently. As we see drivers with those older tires continue to kind of fall on back here. Further and further in the pack, the 2 cars we got to keep an eye on, Joe Hudson as well as Scott Simley, as now we see Grant Humphrey up to the top side, Chad Coleman to the bottom, so they will split Simley 3 wide and put Simley in the middle of 3 and 4 there. But I tell you what, Tyler Humphrey on those slightly older tires, he is out in front and continue to lead laps here tonight at Homestead. He is using that clean air to some great advantage for the 87 machine. Bentley Glasser, though, has seemed like the car to beat, especially from the 3rd mark on in this race. Though he is trying to run down Tyler Humphrey, hasn't been able to pass him yet. So that 87 machine showing that if he gets the right track position in some clean air, he could be a threat for a win before we know it here in the 802 iRacing League. Christopher Muse here trying to get around Steve Ritter, though. Muse big time sideways off of turn number 2. He will lock it on down, slide all 4 tires, trying to keep it out of the way, but we'll draw our 6th caution here tonight. So watching that one happen live. Once again, another single car incident. This time it was a 3 on the car or the 45 in the timing scoring, as Muse will go on around, I believe all by himself, though. We will take a look here once again to the 3 machine, as he is already sideways there. But off of turn number 4, does he get some help from Steve Ritter? As it looks like, I would say no. I think Muse was already sideways, and Ritter, man, getting lucky here once again to not get into the back of that kind of spinning car there, and of course get some damage. So big time caution once again for Rob Lowell, as he will get yet another lap back. That will put the 21 machine to 1 lap down. So he will just have to get the wave round or the lucky dog one more time, and he could be fighting for that playoff spot, because then he can battle, of course, with the cars around him for position, all of that good stuff. As we do see Scott Simley heading to pit road here. He knows losing that track position here, not going to be worth it. And Johnny Barker going to be able to head down pit road once again, try and get some more of that damage repaired on the 6th machine. So another timely caution for Barker and that crew. But I tell you what, I bet you another driver that was pumped up for the caution here tonight. That is our race leader, Tyler Humphrey. Remember, he did not take caution tires under that last caution there on lap 77. So this will allow Tyler to cool off those tires once again, put another heat cycle on his tires, but more importantly, put a heat cycle on everyone else's tires. So that will make them more and more even. The more heat cycles will go on the fellow competitor tires, but he will continue to stay out in clean air. So Tyler Humphrey definitely pumped up for this caution here in this one. So what we got to keep an eye on is that battle currently for that last playoff spot, because that right now is up in the air between Joe Hudson and the 61 machine of Steve Ritter. Right now, it's the advantage to Joe Hudson, but Ritter 4 points back from Joe Hudson. So if the 61 machine were to be able to beat the 23 by 5 or more spots, then it will be Steve Ritter with the last playoff spot. But that could all change, you know, if Johnny Barker continues to get that damage repaired, or when this 21 machine of Rob Lowe can get back on the lead lap. But right now, it is a battle between the 23 and the 61 for that final playoff spot here currently. As here we go, once again, we see the lights go on out around the Homestead Miami Speedway. So we are already up to 6 cautions here tonight, and we still have over 50 laps left in this one. So we'll see if that will continue to be the trend here tonight. But the 6th restart underway. Tyler Humphrey once again going to choose, it looks like this time going to choose the outside lane here on the 6th restart. Bentley Glasser, the other car here on the front row, as we get ready to turn him on loose here once again. As Tyler Humphrey on the loud pedal, we head back to green flag racing here at Homestead. Tyler Humphrey going to be able to get clear into turn number 1. Bentley Glasser, Josh Parker side by side for second, and throughout the rest of the field here. Glasser going to have the shorter distance through the corner, though. Parker going to have the run down the back straightaway. Here comes Josh Parker looking to take over the lead. Man, Parker was sailed in there super deep. Let that car wash up to the top in the 81. Back to the point here tonight, as Josh Parker will take over the race lead. And big time drama, Joe Hudson in the wall. Jim Ott involved. And it is the big one, Jeff Pogo as well. Oh my goodness. If there wasn't enough playoff drama, we have the big one here at Homestead. Wow. That was about 15 cars involved, and if there wasn't enough playoff drama, Rob Lowell involved in this, that will not allow him to get the wave round. He will have to hope for another caution. Wow. I don't even know what to say with that one. As we'll take a look here, see what happened, but that may have started with Joe Hudson and Jeff Pogo making contact here off of turn number 4. Remember, Hudson on older tires, trying to mostly stay out of the way. Jeff Pogo with a big head of steam to the inside of the 23 machine. Then Jim Ott, Nick Larson made contact trying to avoid. Then Scott Simley into the wall. Same with Tyler Waltz, Chris Proger. And then let's see any big time hits for Joe Hudson. Looks like not. Joe Hudson might be able to make it out of there halfway decent. But then, of course, we got to take a look here deeper in the field, as we had some huge hits to the wall. I mean, like Jim Ott and those guys. So we will take a look here, see what happened off of turn number 2. So here's where the big one kind of started, as Jim Ott and Nick Larson make contact, and those two will get together. And it looks like Larson, for the most part, will be able to sneak on through, as, yeah, they continue to wreck. I mean, man, we once again can't get a camera wide enough to kind of catch everything, because, man, Jim Jeff Pogo with a huge hit later in that one. I mean, maybe let's try and see from Jeff Pogo. This will kind of show all the calamities. So later in that one, Tyler Waltz into Jeff Pogo. Pogo almost up and over, and then cars continue to go back and forth on the straightaway. I mean, the 4-car of Donald Shields, the 76, I believe, involved as well. I mean, I think it's better to see cars that weren't involved in that one. I mean, Johnny Barker, Joe Hudson, Jeff Pogo, Chris Proger, Nate Brooker, Ron Holyfield, Bryson Anderson, Donald Sieb, Sean Deal, Tyler Waltz, all involved in that one. And with that, I want to say about 13, maybe 14 cars without damage. Wow. Yeah, like you said there, yard sale on the front straightaway, parts and pizzas everywhere. And man, talk about a playoff shakeup, because with that, I think there's maybe 4 playoff drivers without damage. That'll be Anthony Calatoni, Steve Ritter, Nick Larson. Scratch that. Let's make it 3 cars not involved in a caution, not with any damage. And right now, I believe that would put, so looking at the quick math here, Steve Ritter about 14 points back from Jeff Pogo. So I think Pogo, Jim Ott, both sitting in a good enough spot. As we're hearing a little bit of drama, temper's definitely high in this one, and it's only going to ramp on up here tonight as we get ready for our 7th caution, if you can believe that. I should say our 7th restart, currently under our 7th caution, as Josh Parker going to be in control here. Bentley Glasser, the other car on the front row, as we get ready to turn him back loose. Bentley Glasser not in the right gear. He will be sleeping at the start. That will check up the top side lane. Now you got to wonder, does Anthony Calatoni have damage from that checkup? Does Nick Larson as well? Those 2 cars in the top lane. And with all this calamity, it's going to be Steve Ritter, going to be the best running playoff driver here currently. Wow. And I tell you what, who would have thought Brandon Guerin, he is now fighting inside the top 10 with being involved in some earlier incidents. Holy smokes. It's currently Guerin and Calatoni going forward 3 wide here, as Guerin will get a shot here from the 87 of Tyler Humphrey. He will get then tagged by Chad Coleman, and somehow Brandon Guerin will keep that car facing the right direction. But I'm sure that one car not going to be happy under the helmet there. Tyler Humphrey, though, on those fresh tires, he is trying to drive his way up through this field as quickly as possible, and he is doing just that, getting around Anthony Calatoni now, and now trying to set his sights here on the top 5 running drivers. Top 5 currently, Josh Parker leading the way over Mike Kelly. Grant Humphrey currently running in 3rd. Then it is Steve Ritter, the best playoff driver. Right now, Ritter would be in to the round of 5. Even after a tough night in the first race of the round of 10. That, of course, being, I believe, at Las Vegas. Yes, it was Vegas, the 61 machine of Steve Ritter finished 26th. So what a rebound it would be in the round of 10 to have a 26th place finish and make it to the round of 5. Steve Ritter right in the right spot to do it with about 45 laps to go here tonight. Drivers that are out of the race, Tyler Waltz still down on pit road. Chris Proger down as well. Same with Scott Simley, Evan Fuquay, Eli Raposa. His championship and chase run will come to an end. Jason Wiley also out of this race as well. So with that, about 22 cars out on the racetrack, 20 of them on the lead lap here tonight. Good battle here for position. Nate Brooker and Todd Parent here side by side. Christopher Muse now trying to get on into this mix as well. But yeah, we take a look here at the 97 machine of Jeff Pogo. I mean, you can see how killed that race car was. I mean, those rear tires were about 3 feet off of the ground. I'm surprised that race car can continue to race, but Pogo out here just clicking off the laps, knows he cannot give up any more points to the likes of Rob Lowell, Steve Ritter, Johnny Barker, because right now, as they run, Johnny Barker sits about 6 points back, and with the difference, Jeff Pogo would be in by 1 point over the 6 machine, as Barker runs 15th, Jeff Pogo runs 20th. Man, oh man, it is close throughout the field as Steve Ritter continues to try and make his way towards the front, trying to get around Grant Humphrey on the bottom side. Couldn't quite get a good exit there from the 61 machine as Tyler Humphrey continued to charge his way to the front here in this one. As once again, Grant Humphrey up against the fence here at Homestead. Steve Ritter down here on the bottom side behind Ritter, you know, Tyler Humphrey, Bentley Glasser, Anthony Calatoni, all matching the 61 machine on the bottom side here. None of those cars want to go up to the top because they know they have about 30 or so laps on these tires. Don't want to kind of use them on up, especially if this run were to go to the end, because that's also right, I assume, right on the fuel window as well. So can't really afford to run the top too much because, of course, running the top, you're in the throttle longer. That's, of course, going to burn up more fuel. Joe Hudson here trying to work over Jim Ott. Of course, this is a big battle. That is, of course, because it is a battle between playoff drivers. Right now, I believe Jim Ott would be into the round of 5. Can't afford, you know, to give up too many more positions, as Johnny Barker has been able to get around Ott for 14th. So that will put Johnny Barker and Jeff Pogo both tied in points for that final playoff spot. Luckily for Jeff Pogo, there's no other cars on the lead lap. The bad news for Jeff Pogo, he sits about just over a half a track back from the rest of the field, so Pogo could very well be in danger to go one lap down before the end of this one if it goes green to the end. Johnny Barker up in front of him does have cars up in front of him. Next car in front of the 6 would be the 1 car of Brandon Guerin. So Johnny Barker can see light at the end of the tunnel with being involved in 2 wrecks here tonight. He could somehow sneak his way into the round of 5 and fight for yet another championship here in the 802 iRacing League. Here a little bit deeper in the field, I think Steve Ritter has kind of backed off the pace just a little bit. He knows he is in the catbird seat. He is in a good spot, can afford to give up some points. Can't afford to, of course, give them all up, but right now I believe Steve Ritter should be in over Jeff Pogo, because right now they sit with a 12-point advantage. Actually, I don't think that would be enough because Pogo sits 14 points ahead of Steve Ritter, so Ritter might not be able to be in as well. Holy smokes. I mean, right now, it's a 1-point difference between Pogo, Barker, Hudson. Let me double check about actually Joe Hudson here. We're trying to do a lot of mental math of a lot of different drivers. Joe Hudson actually not currently in the points, as I said. So it's a battle between 3 drivers for 2 spots between Jeff Pogo, Johnny Barker, and Steve Ritter. Rob Lowe, of course, out of it with being still one lap down, and Joe Hudson currently running in 20s. Running in 16th. Not enough, because he sits about 10 points back from Jeff Pogo. He's currently only running about 4 points better than Jeff Pogo. So it's a 3-car battle for 2 spots between Pogo, Ritter, and Barker. We'll have to see how that sorts itself out before the end of this one. Up towards the front here, Mike Kelly now trying to get around Grant Humphrey. Humphrey, of course, has driven back up into second, but now under fire from that 43 machine, and Jeff Pogo starting to get close to going 1 lap down as the 97 big time wounded under power, and he's just coming off of turn number 2, where the leaders going through 1 and 2 here tonight. So yeah, if I'm Steve Ritter, I'm knowing I can't afford to give up any more spots, that is, as they currently run, and maybe have to chase down 1 or 2 cars. I mean, like I said, with him being about 14 points on back, I'm really trying to push the envelope, try and get those spots, because he sits about 8 points behind Johnny Barker, currently running 6 points better. So Steve Ritter needs about 2 spots, at least in these last 30 or so laps, to be feeling in a really good spot. His destiny is in his hands, and that 61, remember, one of about 3 playoff cars that have not been in an incident here tonight. Things calming on down, but the battle for the race lead heating on up as Josh Parker leads the way, and now Grant Humphrey has a big run to the back bumper of Parker. Let's ride on board here with Mike Kelly and ride on board, see what he is seeing as these leaders try and give battle between one another here as we approach 30 laps to go here tonight. And we see right on board here with Mike Kelly, Jeff Pogo going 1 lap down here tonight. So he will currently be the first car 1 lap down, has to battle Rob Lowell and Ron Holyfield. Lowell just coming off of turn number 2, so Jeff Pogo probably needs a caution in these next 5 laps to get back on the lead lap and get some more of that damage repair. But here we go. Battle for the race lead. Grant Humphrey right on the back bumper of Josh Parker. Parker keeping an eye on that mirror, going to enter in on the top side, try and take that line away and give some dirty air to Grant Humphrey, though. Humphrey able to make 1 and 2 work well into the inside. Grant Humphrey will go. Battle for the race lead side by side through 3 and 4. Josh Parker up top, Grant Humphrey on the bottom side. Humphrey almost clear off of 4, couldn't quite get it done. Heads up drag race down the front straightaway as Parker will have the advantage. Humphrey will cross him on over, head to the top side, will get a piece of the fence, so just kissing it. That's about as hard you want to hit it to keep momentum up on that top side. Once again, both of the top 2 to the top side here in 3 and 4. Once again, Grant Humphrey, like a true good dirt racer, laying that right rear quarter panel just against the fence. He is trying to use up every inch of this racetrack here at Homestead, and he is doing that, just that. I mean, we gotta, if Grant Humphrey doesn't try the crossover here down the back straightaway, we gotta ride on board with the 48 machine here through 3 and 4 just to get a view of how close he is getting to this fence here tonight. I mean, you can see he is putting that car up a car length higher than Josh Parker, and once again, just laying that quarter panel into that fence there through 3 and 4. We'll take a view here in 1 and 2, once again up on that top side, get into that fresh air, that clean air just above the 81. Not as high that time for the 48, and with that, getting a big run here down the back straightaway. We'll see if Humphrey will go to the bottom or try and wind it up here yet another time. This time Parker will enter higher than Humphrey, so Humphrey going to keep that car about a lane sooner. Josh Parker into the wall, side by side once again, and a mistake from our leader. And look at this, here comes Anthony Calatoni as well. Man, before the end of this one, it could be a 6-7 car battle for the race lead as we now go into the countdown clock. It is now 24 to go here tonight. Parker will hang on to the race lead, but for how much longer? Because here comes Anthony Calatoni. Calatoni turning up the wick late in this one. He is a driver super strong on the long run. He will get clear from Humphrey, get a nice push from Humphrey, and man, Calatoni up into second. Here comes Bentley Glasser. He seemed like the car to beat on the long run. He is charging his way back up to the front as well. We saw Grant Humphrey running that top side many of laps. You got to wonder about the tires underneath that 48 machine. Are they starting to go away just a little bit in that race car? Because now these drivers had about closing on up to 50 laps on these set of tires, so the handling definitely going away on a lot of race cars. The question is, who is able to save their stuff just that little bit more? And it looks like it could be a battle here between the 36 and the 84 as Bentley Glasser to the inside of Josh Parker down the back straightaway, though Parker will get a big push. Parker watching the mirror, going to block Bentley Glasser here through 3 and 4. He will take his line away. That will open up some run for Anthony Calatoni and maybe bring along here Grant Humphrey as well. As here we go, Calatoni to the inside of Josh Parker. Battle for the race lead here once again, as it seems like it's shaping up to maybe 4 cars. But don't count out Tyler Humphrey, as he has that tire advantage as well. Josh Parker maybe a little bit tight there through 3 and 4. Here comes Grant Humphrey to the top side, 3 wide for the race lead, and it will be Grant Humphrey leading the way here with 20 laps to go here tonight at Homestead. So Humphrey taking advantage of those 2 leaders side by side, slowing each other up. He built up his momentum up on the top side of Grant Humphrey to the point as Josh Parker, big time moment down the back straightaway. Somehow Parker hangs onto the race car there somehow, some way, but most importantly, Steve Ritter will take and pick up another spot. So like I said, Steve Ritter needs about 6 or better to be in the round of 5. Jeff Pogo did lose that spot to Rob Lowe. Now is going to lose the spot to Ron Holyfield. So now Jeff Pogo will be the driver on the outside looking in, I believe, because now with this, I believe Johnny Barker, he was 6 points back from Pogo. Now as they run, Johnny Barker would be above. Now it's between Jeff Pogo and Steve Ritter. Right now, that is a 14-point gap. And right now, that is what they are separated by. So like I said, Steve Ritter needs 1 more spot, and he will be in the round of 5. Jeff Pogo can't give up any more spots, I believe, because I think Bryson Anderson down another lap. Yes, he is. He sits 3 laps back from Pogo, so Pogo can't lose any more spots from here on out. And now comes to Steve Ritter to run down Chad Coleman or Mike Kelly to make his way into the round of 5. Up in front, Grant Humphrey has got that top side worked on out. Like I said, that top side is the preferred lane, even under the lights. once these tires start to go on away, you can just carry that a little bit more speed, have that little bit less wheel. And Grant Humphrey showing that on off, trying to stretch that race lead over a second advantage over Anthony Calatoni. He currently sits in second, Bentley Glasser in third, and Tyler Humphrey right there as well, looking for his first podium here in the 802 Winston Cup Series, right on the back bumper of Bentley here into turn number 1. Mike Kelly sits in fifth. Like I said, Chad Coleman sixth, Steve Ritter seventh, Nick Larson in eighth, Josh Parker ninth, and Christopher Muse 10th. And look at this, Johnny Barker, Brandon Guerin here duking it out. Guerin, of course, teammates with Jeff Pogo, so this one car very much will want to try and get around the 6 car. That would put Johnny Barker once again tied in points with Jeff Pogo, and would put Pogo back into the fight here for that spot and take a little bit of pressure off him and put the driver's seat into Steve Ritter even more, making Ritter have to get 2 spots here in the end of this one. Tyler Humphrey able to get around Bentley Glasser, now trying to get around Anthony Calatoni. Tyler a little bit loose there into turn number 3. You saw that car dance, continuing to dance here through 3 and 4. So that right rear maybe starting to go away a little bit from the 87. But here late in this one, we get our 8th caution here tonight. And like I was saying before, this now shakes up everything, because man, oh man, this could be the lifeline Steve Ritter needed. Maybe same with Jeff Pogo as well. I believe this caution coming out for a single car spin. It looks like the 7 machine of Chris Proger going on around there in 1 and 2. Hard hit to that outside wall, and that will kind of draw the caution there with that one being a single car incident. It looks like Proger just having the back end kind of step on out from that top side, maybe put some wheel in, breaking the traction in the rear tires, and then like I've said many a times this season, you get one chance to save that race car, and that car just snapping on around like an oval track car can do, and then a hard hit to the 7 machine to that outside wall. I mean, Chris was already dealing with a damaged race car there, so I'm sure that's not helping, but man, that will leave a sprint to the finish here in this one with about a 10-lap shootout with 5 spots on the line for a championship. It looks like we have Chris Proger here in the infield care center, so we will try and, of course, get a work with the 7 machine here in this one. Get Chris here right now. Chris, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I'm a big dumb hat.
Yeah, I mean, what happened there to you? And I assume it started with that race car with some damage involved in that big one.
Nope. Car was completely fixed. I just screwed up. I was looking back to make sure I wasn't going to mess Pogo up, and it was I caught a seat, and the car decided I wanted to get loose, and then I overcorrected and slapped it in the wall, which is exactly the last thing I wanted to do, was cause a caution.
Yeah, a tough break there, and like you said, you hate to do that for everyone else, to cause a caution, but I mean, how tough was this racetrack? Because we see many times here tonight, cars get out from underneath you.
It was beautiful. I got caught up in two other people's messes tonight. Otherwise, I was having a great time. I was ripping a high side all night long, and it was just glorious. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the joys of this racetrack, right? Homestead, Miami, you can race anywhere from that inside paint on the apron all the way to the top side. I mean, it puts on some great racing. Like you were saying, you look pretty sporty.
I could not run the bottom. I don't know what it was. I don't know how I was entering the corner, but I would just lose so much speed on the bottom. I just, as soon as I could, I would get up to the high side and then just run the wall, because everybody was running middle low. So I was able to just pull the high side the whole time. And honestly, tire wear wasn't bad. I mean, I did 50-some laps pushing. And my right sides were still above 50%. So, I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Wow, that is impressive to hear for, the field here tonight. Definitely wouldn't have guessed that, but I guess, you can maybe equate that with it being under the lights. The track's a little bit cooler, not as effective, with the line heating on up or any sort of stuff like that. So it definitely makes it racy here tonight, that's for sure, under the lights.
No, it was good. It was good racing. I mean, the car got a little loose after the third heat cycle on the tires, but after about 5 laps, it settled back in and it was fine.
All righty, awesome stuff. Well, Chris, we appreciate you talking with us. We got a 10-lap shootout, so we got to call that. But before we let you go, man, anyone you want to give a quick shout-out to? And
first and foremost, to my wife, thank you for letting me do this. I don't deserve you. And then I'd like to thank Motion for letting me represent their car, even their company, even though I suck. So, there you go.
All righty, awesome stuff, Chris. Well, we appreciate you chatting with us like always here, and you, my man, good luck here next week. Atlanta coming on up.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
All righty, awesome stuff. That was a 7 machine of Chris Proger as we head back to Green Flag Racing, a 10-lap shootout as Christopher Muse on old tires leading the field down into turn number 1. Muse will have the advantage. He will lead the way, but how long can he hold off the rest of the field on those old tires? Like I said, we got to keep an eye out on Jeff Pogo, Steve Ritter, as well as Johnny Barker. 2 of those 3 cars will end up making the round of 5 off of turn number 4. It may be a Humphrey battle for the race lead. Grant Humphrey, Tyler Humphrey splitting Christopher Muse, and it'll be Grant Humphrey with the advantage into turn number 1. Grant Humphrey going to lead the way here over, like I said, Tyler Humphrey, Anthony Calatoni now up into 3rd. Further on back here, cars right on top of each other. Chad Coleman here trying to get around Bentley Glasser. Remember, Glasser seemed to have the long run pace. Doesn't seem to fire on off as well in these short runs. Like I said, Steve Ritter, he needs a 14-point advantage over Jeff Pogo or a 8-point advantage over Johnny Barker. Ritter currently sits in 9th, Barker in 14th, Jeff Pogo in 20th. So Ritter not hitting on any of those lucky numbers just yet. He has a 6-point advantage over Johnny Barker and then an 11-point advantage over Jeff Pogo. So those 2 will have their work cut out for them. Like I said, I believe Jim Ott sits in a good enough spot to make it. Joe Hudson will need a miracle here from the 23 machine late in this one. As cars still side by side, Christopher Muse on those old tires up on the top side. That may slow down Nick Larson just a little bit. Allow Steve Ritter to get another spot here tonight, but Ritter will lose the spot to Nick Larson, so Ritter can't afford to give up any more spots. He needs to get on the move here late to try and make it on in. He will continue to stay side by side with his teammate. An interesting call from Wolfpack Racing, letting these guys race it on out, and let whatever play on out when it comes to the points and who will make it into the round of 5. So I think when it's all said and done, they'll at least have 2 drivers of the 5 in the playoffs. Like I said, I think Johnny Barker may have enough, and definitely Nick Larson sits in a great spot here. 5 to go this time by at the stripe. It is Grant Humphrey here leading the way over Tyler Humphrey, Anthony Calatoni. All 3 of them kind of checked on out. Best battles on the speedway. Nick Larson here trying to get around Josh Parker. Then right behind them, Christopher Muse, Jim Ott, all under a blanket. Brandon Guerin sits right behind as well. So Jim Ott, of course, involved in that big one. Ott came in, 9 points above the cutoff line. He's doing what he needs to do to sit in a good spot, currently in 10th. So Ott is looking like he will be one of those 5 racing for the playoff and that championship title. Down the backstretch they will go. A little bit of wall contact there down the back straightaway. Not sure. I believe it was 1 car of Brandon Guerin getting a little bit of piece of it there As this time by, we will now see 3 laps to go and 3 laps left here tonight at Homestead. Johnny Barker, very importantly, will get around Christopher Muse, so that'll put Barker up into 13th, making Steve Ritter try and get even more spots when it's all said and done. Jeff Pogo not in danger of going another lap down. Like I said, he can't lose any more spots here. He will stay in 20th. But up in front, it's shaping up to be a battle for the win between the twins. Grant Humphrey leading the way over Tyler Humphrey, though this time by, we see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 to go here tonight for the Sunshine State 210. Playoff driver implications here. Nick Larson trying to get around Chad Coleman. Coleman not having the pace he needs to late in this run. This could allow Steve Ritter to get one of those more important points that he needs late in this one. Well, this time by, Grant Humphrey will be the first car to see the white flag, though. Tyler to his inside. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go. Who will pick up the win? It will be a battle between the Humphreys, who will be the final 5 cars racing for a championship these next 3 weeks. It all comes down to this white flag lap. As heads up racing down the back straightaway, Grant Humphrey with the advantage. Tyler will have one last shot. He will shoot it down to the bottom side, try and paint that white line. The 87 machine on the throttle. He's sideways. He's giving it all he's got. Grant Humphrey in the wall. It's going to be a photo finish between the Humphreys, so Grant will get it over Tyler. Off of turn number 4, they are wrecking here down the front straightaway. And Chad Coleman, Josh Parker getting some damage. Brandon Guerin involved as well, as more calamity late in this one. Though, wow, what a finish. Steve Ritter will finish 7th. I don't think that will be enough because, like I said, he needed 14 points over Jeff Pogo. With that 7th place finish, that'll put him 13 points better. As well as Johnny Barker, he needed, 8 points over Steve Ritter, and Barker finishing 13th. Ritter finishing 7th. That will be a 8-point advantage. So it's going to maybe come down to a tie for that final playoff point and final playoff spot. We'll keep an eye on the points to see how it shakes on out. But it will be here. Grant Humphrey, his first career win, will come tonight here at Homestead. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back after a quick commercial break for our post-race show and chat with our top 3 finishers here tonight.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back to Homestead, but before we get to chat with our top 3 finishers, we got to take a look here on this final lap because something big happened and a driver we didn't talk about much at all at the end was able to sneak on in with Brandon Guerin losing the back end here off of turn number 4. That gave up 1 spot and 1 point to that car right behind him, Rob Lowell in the 21 machine with that evasive maneuver right there, and Johnny Barker in that white and blue 6 machine. Both of those cars make it to the round of 5, bumping out Jeff Pogo and Steve Ritter. All those spots were separated by less than 3 points between Barker, Lowell, Pogo, and Ritter. This is how the playoffs look at the conclusion of tonight, and those are those points that I talk about, with Johnny Barker and Rob Lowell getting that 1 extra point to bump them above Jeff Pogo, and more importantly, bump our regular season champion out of a chance to race for the championship and try and go 2 championships in a row. Wow. Big time drama. But now let's head it on over to some drivers that are pumped on up here tonight. First driver we will be talking to is our 3rd place finisher, that being the 84 of Anthony Calatoni. Anthony, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
What's going on, Brett?
What up? After 140 laps, Anthony, man, tell us how we're feeling.
We're feeling all right. Had some things to overcome this race, but I'm happy to come home 3rd at a racetrack. I think they should fill it with water, but yeah.
Yeah, we talked about many times here before the season. You weren't the biggest fan of this place, and I tell you what, to end up with a 3rd, that's got to be feeling really good. Walking away once again another round with that championship lead. You, my man, are fighting for your first championship. It now comes down to these next 3 weeks, but more importantly, you survived the final cutoff race. Woohoo!
Yeah, just one more round to go. Happy for the Talking Giants, John Boy Media, Chevrolet. Just unfortunately, it sucks to see some of my competitors caught up in that big wreck on 88. But we're going to start next week off fresh, and just hopefully we'll get a strong finish out of it. I had a big crowd tonight. I was not really too worried, but I was kind of shocked and happy to see a big crowd tonight.
Yeah, I mean, over 30 cars at Homestead. That's awesome to see. And yeah, here tonight, Anthony, you were, I think, one of 3 playoff cars that weren't involved in an incident, weren't involved with some damage, but like you said, had to overcome a little bit. What happened on that start from your eyes in the 84?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man. I was asking, you had to overcome a little bit of adversity, had that penalty on that restart. From your perspective behind the wheel, what did you see and what did you think of that?
I was actually talking to the guys that I was in Discord with. I did feel like that I did pop the throttle a little bit, trying to just even with him, and I saw on the relative that I was ahead. But then again, they were telling me that something happened. Something may have happened with him, where he jumped and then slowed down. So I haven't looked at it yet. That was actually my next thing I was going to go look at here. But I mean, luckily it was early enough in the race where it happened, and we were able to overcome it. But we're just gonna have to work on the restart box, I guess.
Yeah, that you will, but luckily, we don't have to do it anymore here tonight at Homestead. But yeah, Anthony, I mean, who would have guessed that here at Homestead, it would have been a race of attrition for you guys in this round of 10?
Yeah. The round of 10 was was a little unexpected, but just glad to get it behind me now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. That's luckily now in the books. It's set in stone. Now 3 races left. We got Old Atlanta, Nashville Super Speedway, and then a full-length Kansas to round out this championship. How you feeling for these next and most important 3 races?
I feel comfortable at Old Atlanta, even though it's an old surface. I feel good about that. And the Kansas race, it's going to be different. I've never done a full race there at Kansas. I've done full length races, but I'm gonna have to talk to some teammates in other leagues, and we're gonna have to come up with a strategy for that. And I like Nashville. I like Nashville just as much as I like Dover. So I like the concrete tracks.
Yeah, that you do. You do seem to do really well at that. And yeah, that's another place. High speeds down the corner, down the straightaways, let's say, and then, heavy loads into the corners, just like Dover. So yeah, I'm sure that 84 machine gonna be pretty sporty when we roll up to there. But yeah, here tonight, Anthony, able to walk away with a top 3. You qualified 3rd, finished 3rd, did what you needed to do to advance to the round of 5 and fight for your first championship. So before we let you go here tonight and celebrate making the final round, we of course got to hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether teammates, sponsors, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out on the YouTube chats.
Yeah, gotta thank Talking Giants, John Boy Media. Excuse me. Couldn't do this without the sponsorship and the partnership that we have. WBD Diecast, all the sponsors of the league here, BG Graphix, all of them that sponsor the league, all the racers that show up and make this even possible so that we have somewhere to run. And I gotta thank you for the broadcast. You're helping out with one of my Sim 500 teammates since you can't come in and watch. So he's watching you. So appreciate you doing the broadcast for us. You do a fantastic job. And I think I covered everything here. Oh, Rebuilding Warriors and the Elks organization. I forgot the quarter pound here. So yeah, I think that covered it.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Anthony. Well, once again, congrats on the 3rd place, but most importantly, a chance to fight for your first championship here in the 802 iRacing League. You, my man, have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you back next week at Atlanta.
Thank you, Brett. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. Anthony Calatoni once again picking up and putting down another top 5 finish. That makes it now his 11th career top 5 finish, putting him 1 back from Jeff Pogo for the most on the season. Now we'll head up to our runner-up finisher, that being the 87 machine of Tyler Humphrey. Tyler, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir, I do.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how you feeling after 140 laps here with your first ever start in the 802 iRacing League?
I'm burning up over here. It was, I'm racing in the same room as Grant Humphrey. So, first and second, we were in the same room and got 2 computers blasting, and I'm just on fire right now. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're sweating bullets in that room. I'm sure that room was nice and toasty for a lot of that race, but especially toasty those last couple laps. Tell us that battle with your brother there at the end.
Yeah, this is my brother's first league win, so I'm super excited for him. I mean, it was awesome to see him go out there and dominate. When he got out front, it seemed like he stayed up there, so it was super cool to see that. Yeah, it was. That heat definitely didn't help, though. We come into the end. I mean, we're not going to wreck each other, but made sure we were going to race each other hard to the line. I don't think we could have got much better of a finish than that right there.
Yeah, I mean, photo finish between you guys, I mean, that's got to be, a screensaver, a PC background, something like that, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just can't get better than that. I did not think that it was going to be that close at the end. He got out up front, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Just both of us running 2 different lines and making it work. Him up around the wall and me right down there on the bottom. I was just, those final few laps, I was really getting it to rotate, and it was feeling really good. And I was like, oh, I may may get him. This may turn into a really awesome finish, and it sure did. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great finish there, but it took a little bit of work from you, especially Tyler, making your way through the field multiple times. I mean, we saw you get off cycle. How'd you overcome that to have a shot there at the win on that white flag lap?
Yeah, a lot of patience. There was a few moves that I maybe wasn't the most proud of, but I mean, there was no harm behind it. I was just trying to move through the field, and that bottom just really worked for me. So if I could get it around the bottom, I knew I would make my way through the field throughout a run, and it definitely worked out that way. Yeah, lap 50, I came into pit, and I was like trying to split it. 50 and 100 were my pit windows, and that caution fell, and I went a lap down. And I was like, no way did this just happen, because we run another league, and they run 50% fuel, so we don't get these long runs. And I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. I'll actually try some strategy out for the first time in a very long time, and it bit me in the butt. But you got to persevere throughout the day. Just be patient. Can't get down on yourself. And I feel like we did a really good job of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that you did a great rebound here tonight to end up P number 2. And I mean, inches apart from each other. I mean, that photo finish there at the end, incredible. Did you think you were able to get Grant there at the end, especially once he got a little bit of that wall glue there off of 4?
Yeah, when I saw him get into the wall, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna pass him for his first win. But he was able to keep it going. And I had a little slip in the rear, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, this is going to turn into a really close finish. And I had a little bit more momentum than him, but just couldn't get it at the line. So,
yeah, overall a great finish. And like you mentioned before, Tyler, you were able to run that bottom side very, very well tonight, make a lot of moves down there. What was kind of the key for you, without giving, too much away? How were you able to get that car, one, to stick down there, but also rotate, right?
yeah, I would just say patience. I mean, you can send it in on the bottom, but if you over send it, you're gonna slide up into that middle line. And I had 20 or 30 laps that happened tonight, and I knew that coming to the end, that wasn't a possibility. I had to keep it right around the bottom, and I felt like, you know, all- 100 and the first 120 laps were all preparation for those final 20 to make sure that I could put together some consistent laps, and it seemed to work out. Just it debanks between lanes 1 and 2, and I was finding a little bit of that. I really like whenever I can find something like that, and I think in that final 10 laps I found something I really like, so I need to add that to my notebook for next time.
Yeah, for sure, man. You definitely got to add that. And yeah, those last 10 laps, I mean, I think on that kind of 10 lap shootout, you started, outside the top 5. That was impressive to see you slice and dice your way through that field, and then, yeah, be up there for that win. Man, that was awesome, because you're racing, I'm sure, against some pretty good names up there as well, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, Calatoni and the 84. I mean, I've been watching my brother run the past few weeks, and I'm starting to learn the good guys, and I mean, they were up there tonight. I mean, I had to pass every single one of them. It felt like at some point tonight. So it was a tough race, but we made it work out. So just
Yeah.
got one more to pass next week. So
Yep, that you do. And next week we head to Atlanta, the old version. How you feel about this place? Are we expecting to see the 87 out there?
yeah, I think old Atlanta, it's another patience track. So if I can get that throttle down at the right time, I think we'll be all good. So excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely another driver track like we saw here tonight. Before we have you thank your sponsors here, Tyler, real quick. I always like to get a little insight about people's sim setups, what they're using, what they're running. So you, my man, what do you got these days for wheel pedals? What are you looking at? All that good stuff here.
Yeah, so same as Grant, I have an Ace Attack Invicta wheelbase, 27 newton meters of power. It's what provides all the depth, detail, everything that I feel from the track. Really helps me on those exits when the rear starts to step out. I'm able to feel that and then translate that to my pedals, which are V&M pedals. They're an awesome set of pedals, very high grade pedals. I really like them. It all works really well. And then I just got a brand new sequential shifter that feels really awesome and is overly annoying. It's very clicky. I'm sure everybody in the house can hear every single gear I'm going through. So, yeah, and then a fun little fact, I run a D-shaped wheel like a sports car. next gens, they're very similar to IMSA-like sports cars, and I don't know, I found myself with a lot of success with a D-shaped wheel instead of a normal oval wheel. So it's yeah, awesome setup. I really enjoy it. Gives me all that immersion, feedback, detail, like I said.
Yeah, and that's key because, you know, in iRacing, that's the only kind of detail you get is in the wheel besides the slight little visual cues, let's say, from your eyes. The only thing else you get is that wheel. And yeah, it's awesome to hear. And yeah, those D-shaped wheels seem pretty sweet. And, you know, at the end of the day, you hope you're not reaching all the way down at that flat spot. If you are, I think something might be awry, right?
Yeah. I'd like to think that I can catch it before I have to be going all the way down there. That's for sure.
For sure, man. Well, Tyler, once again, congrats here on your runner-up finish, first ever league start. That's impressive to see. But before we let you go, man, I'm sure there's people you got to thank out here, whether teammates, sponsors, or anyone else out there in YouTube, because it sounds like maybe even your mom was cheering you on here tonight.
Yeah, she's always watching, and I really appreciate it. All my family for watching, and all the broadcasters. Couldn't do this without them. So, Muscle Poodles, Landesco, Isabel's Impact, the Bar Distillery. I mean, all those sponsors. Team Chevy, Haptic Performance Racing, with Grant Humphrey, Christopher Muse, and Evan Fuquay. They all are a part of this team. We're all, I think, moving over to 802 Racing League, so I'm super excited to see what the future entails.
Yeah, same with me, man. That could be a little preview, maybe to season 7, seeing some of these guys we see on screen fighting for that championship next season.
Yeah, we got a great group of guys, and I hope to see you all in season 7, that's for sure.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That is super exciting to hear, Tyler. Well, you, my man, rest of your night, go enjoy this. I'm sure you and your brother going to be pumped up from this night here tonight.
Yeah, we're going to go burn it down. Thank you.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our runner-up finisher, Tyler Humphrey. Now we'll head over to his twin brother down in victory lane. It is the driver of the 48, Grant Humphrey. Grant, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got a copy.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, after 140 laps, you, my man, pick up your first career win here in 802. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Super excited to get my first win in the 802 league.
Yeah, I tell you what, and you had to earn it here tonight. I mean, multiple times we saw you start battling with other cars, you know, lose the race lead, that is, regain it back, and then it comes down to a 10-lap shootout. Tell us about your race and what you thought from your car here tonight.
Oh, the car handled great. Josh Parker, he was a tough one to pass. He definitely did a great job blocking, and I had a lot of fun running with him. So I'm just super excited to be up here in victory lane, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you and Josh put on a big show. I mean, we rode on board with you many of times. First thing I got to ask, man, how were you able to put it on the fence and not overstep the limits, let's say? Because, man, we rode on board with you, like I said, a few times, and you were inches, maybe even sometimes like a true good dirt racer, laying that quarter panel on the wall as well.
Yeah, I definitely got in the wall my fair share of times. It held it, but I threw it in fourth, and normally it pulled right away from the wall after that. So I was able to keep up my momentum, but I don't know. I'd get up next to the wall, and then I'd gas it up, and it would just start turning again. So that's what seemed like it really helped me tonight. So
yeah, because you were definitely moving. I mean, before that late race caution, you were starting to check out from the field, ripping that top side.
yeah, I was super disappointed to see that caution, but it ended up all working out in my favor, and I'm just really thankful for that.
Yeah, and then of course we got to talk about that finish. Tyler runs you on down there, and then off of turn number 4, it's a photo finish of inches between you two.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, he's gonna get me here, because I knew he was coming up on the low side, and I was like, oh, I gotta stay up by the wall, and I kind of clipped it, and it did suck my car in that time. So we looked, it looked like he was about 2 miles an hour quicker than me going across the line. So it was a great finish, and just super excited to be running with him. And all my teammates and the 802 guys.
Yeah, I tell you what, Grant, it was a great race to watch out here because, yeah, you were definitely one of, if not the car to beat. And of course, you know, you're out here chasing checkered flags, but your brother Tyler kind of hinted might be going full time next season for season 7. Is it looking that way for the 48 machine as well?
Yeah, I'd say it's looking that way for my whole team, but we'll see. I definitely plan on trying to race next season, though.
Alrighty, that is exciting news. Grant Humphrey already checking the box of the first career win. I'm sure you'll have some more here in store. And speaking about going after wins, how do you feel about the tracks left on the schedule? We have Old Atlanta next week, Nashville Super Speedway, and then we end things with a full-length race at Kansas.
I'm super excited for Atlanta, but I'm not sure about Nashville. I think that'll be kind of a different track for me. And then I'm not great at Kansas, but this new tire model I think that they came out with, it's a little different, so I'll have to try and figure it out and see if I can maybe run a little better.
Yeah, it definitely, you know, takes a little bit getting used to, especially every time iRacing puts a tire model on. It's always, you know, maybe a little different, slightly different, things like that has to adjust. But for a little info for you for Nashville Super Speedway, it is a concrete track, you know, of course not similar to Dover, but kind of one of those tracks, high speeds down the straightaways, you know, blowing it up big time in the corners. How do you like Dover? Because that will maybe kind of help the mindset when it comes to Nashville Super Speedway.
I was thinking about that. I love Dover, so we'll see how it goes. I think I'll be decent there, maybe a top 10 car, but we'll see.
Yeah, and here tonight, Grant, I mean, you had a pretty solid qualifying effort, qualifying inside of the top 5, but overall, man, able to walk away with this checkered flag here tonight. So where'd you find the speed in this race car? I mean, we saw it up on the top side, but I assume you had to throw something down on the bottom as well.
Really, I found all of my speed at the top. I got down to the bottom and just couldn't make any passes. I said, I'm just gonna go on up there. That's when I ran official races here. That's where I ran. So I said, I'll just go up there, and if I burn up my tires, I burn up my tires. But they seemed to hold out for the whole run, so I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that it did under the lights. You know, it seemed like tire wear wasn't as much as a factor, and you definitely use that to your advantage running that top side as well as you did here tonight. So, Grant, before we let you go and celebrate your first career win, we, of course, got to hand the mic over to you and have you thank who you got to thank here down in Victory Lane, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone out there you want to thank on YouTube, because I think even your mom tuning on in, cheering you on as well.
Yeah, I gotta thank Isabel's Impact, Must Love Poodles, the Bar Distillery, Hell Niagara Enterprises, my coworkers if they were watching, my family, of course my mom, my dad, my brother, and then my amazing girlfriend Lindsay, and then you for putting this on, and then my teammates for running with me.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Grant. Well, congrats again to you picking up your first career win. You, my man, go celebrate it. It was well-deserved, well-earned, and we look forward to talking to you again here in the future as well.
Thank you. I look forward to being up here again, hopefully soon. You have a good night.
Alrighty, thank you very much. That was our race winner, Grant Humphrey, getting the job done here tonight at Homestead, going after his first career win. Wow, what a race it was here tonight. We had everything from big ones, point drama, and a new winner when it's all said and done. Once again, if you guys are just tuning on in looking for the points here tonight, it shakes out that Anthony Calatoni, Nick Larson, Jim Ott, Johnny Barker, and Rob Lowell. Those are the 5 that will go on and race for the Season 6 championship. Drivers that were eliminated tonight here by 1 point. It was the regular season champion of Jeff Pogo, not going to be able to try and defend his championship from last year and last season. Steve Ritter falls 2 points short. He will be eliminated. Same with Joe Hudson, Eli Raposa, and Frank Zingen. So those are the 5 that do not make it to the next round. But yeah, for the race results here tonight, had 31 cars here in the session to try and make some laps, and here's how things finished on off when it was all said and done. Grant Humphrey picking up his first career win, and his twin brother Tyler Humphrey will end in a photo finish of 13 thousandths of a second between the two of them. Anthony Calatoni going to be the best playoff driver, finishing in third. Calatoni will have a shot at his first championship. Mike Kelly will bring home a respectable fourth, and Bentley Glasser seemed like the car to beat in the long run. Didn't get the long run at the end, still walking away with a top 5. Nick Larson does enough here tonight to finish in 6th to fight for a championship here the next 3 weeks. Steve Ritter coming up oh so close. 2 spots he needed. He will finish in 7th. Josh Parker will bring it home 8th after a big save off of turn number 2. Chad Coleman in 9th. And Jim Ott doing enough here tonight to end up fighting for a championship. He will round out the top 10. Rob Lowe in that 21 machine will bring it home in 11th. From 3 laps down, he will rebound enough to get 1 point over Jeff Pogo. Rob Lowe with an 11th place rebound finish will be fighting for a championship the next 3 weeks. Nate Brooker in the 00 will finish 12th. Johnny Barker doing enough to finish in 13th. Christopher Muse in 14th. Todd Parent will round out the top 15. Brandon Guerin will bring home 16th. Donald Sieb in 17th. Joe Hudson, strategy just coming up short, involved in the big one. He will bring it home, let's say, in 18th. 19th will be Ron Holyfield. Jeff Pogo, a heartbreaker here this season, as he was a regular season champion, defending champion, here with a 20th place finish here tonight. His playoff hopes and championship aspirations will be dashed here at Homestead. Bryson Anderson will finish 21st. Sean Deal in 22nd, 23rd going to Tyler Waltz. Eli Raposa getting eliminated here tonight, but able to make it to a respectable round of 10. Chris Broger will finish 25th, 26th going to Evan Fuqua. 27th, Scott Simley. 28th is Jason Wiley. And then the final few finishers, Michael Strickland, 29th, Aiden Tatro, 30th, and Reba Kane finishing in 31st. So that will do it after an action-packed race here for the cutoff race of the round of 10. Now, we go into 3 weeks of the round of 5. You won't want to miss that. That starts next week at Atlanta. Then we head to, of course, Nashville Super Speedway, and then things will end it on off at a full-length race at Kansas. So we got to thank, of course, a lot of people. First and foremost, all you guys tuning on in here live. We had great interaction in the chat here tonight. Appreciate all you guys doing that. Also, great attendance here tonight and a big-time drama-filled race. We appreciate everyone tuning on in, whether live or the replay. We couldn't do it without all your guys' support. Also, some support we got to thank. That is some league sponsors, that being BG Graphix, Riptide Radio, GStone Motorsports, Admin Box, as well as Stone, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. We also got to thank all the drivers. 31 cars here tonight. That is awesome to see, as well as our winner, Grant Humphrey, with his first career win here in the 802 iRacing League. I've been Brett the Jet here with Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune in to Turn 3 Racing Network throughout the week as we have a lot of great racing. Of course, Friday night we have the Busch Series here with the 802 iRacing League. That coming live here the next 3 Fridays as well as a lot of great sim racing throughout the week. Hey, if you're looking for a little bit of something, I'm sure we got you covered there. So, also Turn 3 Racing Network partnered with Premier Setup Shops. You can find out more about them with the link in the description. Have subscriptions, have per sets, purchases, have even paint scheme and driver coach, and have a lot to offer. Even if you don't buy anything, a click would go a long way and would be greatly appreciated. So, yeah, that'll do it tonight here for myself. Everyone take care, stay safe. Hopefully you enjoyed a great race, an action-packed race at that, here for the Sunshine State 210 here with the 802 Winston Cup Series. So I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Everyone take care, stay safe, and have a good one.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.